Our special guest for the evening comes to us from Chicago, Illinois. This brother is a researcher of unmatched proportion, primarily due to the highly specialized research he chooses to explore. He is an investigator of American secret societies and institutions, the organizations that plan and control our futures. You probably heard of some of them, the Trilateral Commission, NABRIT, and organizations such as that. I don't think that there's another brother as deeply into this level of research as the brother I'm about to bring before you. He first came to national attention back in 1985 during the period when our black leadership across the country was under attack by Jews. At a time that you saw them lining up our leaders, calling them to the carpet, repudiating people, if you will. They had the records on them. Steve decided to pull out his records on them. And to their surprise, they could not refute what he had to share. Steve is nationally sought after on every major college and university across the country now. And he prides himself as the man willing to name the names of the beasts that control our communities. And he's here tonight to speak to us on the subject of African people and the New World Order. I'd like for you to please welcome Mr. Steve Coakley.
So without further ado, we're getting us all this research material together because this brother's real. Real. We have major problems getting a real brother, a real black man in the town. All opposition. Steve Coakley!
Good evening, Hotel. How you Africans doing? Let me humbly thank all of you all for this opportunity to have a few minutes to discuss with you a couple things about what's going on in the world. Maybe, just maybe, it might be of some importance to you. For some, it makes no difference, and that's all right. Everybody won't be in on it at the right time. There will be no unity unless it's in defeat or in victory. That's the only spot that will unify, so don't be asking for it before it's time, because there'll be no unity in the process of defeat or victory, only at the end of either or. Of course, you all, the descendants of God Almighty, the direct descendants of God Almighty, are the beginning. Of course, you are both the beginning and the end, and so we're in the preparation for the end game. We're at the end of the line. It won't go much further. Things won't remain normal much longer. You can see evidence of wars even in white world. There's many wars, and part of sometimes our inability is to recognize these wars amongst the whites, so that we can understand where the real power conflicts are. Of course, you all are in Dallas. You are here at the scene of the crime. I walked past a building downtown the other day and saw a building named after Ernest Cabal or something. Cabell. I think that was the mayor. What was his name? Campbell? Fuck him, whoever he was. Fuck him. He was the mayor, right? But what's important is that while he was the mayor, his brother worked in the CIA. His brother had something to do with the John Kennedy assassination. And you need to know about the two Cabell brothers, or whoever they were, because you can only understand them in pairs. So you want to keep up with both of them. But fuck them both, just for the point of it. I do not come in peace. So sometimes, and we mean that amongst each other we shall be peaceful. As I say, we will have black-on-black nonviolence exclusively within the black community. But sometimes we lull ourselves to sleep with different words that we use, and sometimes we just piece ourselves to sleep. And peace is not a goal, it's a moment. So peace is not a goal, and there'll be no peace with the beast. That's something you'll never forget. And part of what I do, the blessing that I have to offer is that I was 16 years ago, April 5th, released from a hospital in DeKalb, Illinois, where I was being held for 5 days from the 1st to the 5th of April 1975, because I chose to try to tell some people about some things that at that moment I didn't quite understand. And at that time I made a covenant, and you know how we are, if we just get out of this one. I asked God, if you just get me out of this one, I would do certain things, but I kept my word, and part of how I'm here to stand before you today is that I kept my word, and for that I received certain benefits and gifts, and I only live for the completion of my goal. All else is moot. What I begged for, what I prayed for, was that if I got away from the clutches of the people who were holding me, that I begged to have the opportunity to get the knowledge to be able to describe to another person who they were. How I got in trouble, I was asking everybody, well, who's running this damn thing since we don't like it? And everybody said, shh, you don't talk about that shit around here. And then I started saying it out loud, and they moved away from me. Didn't want to be associated or stand next to someone who out loud would raise the question about who's in control here. And one thing led to another thing, and I ended up getting picked up and held for 5 days. And some other brothers that were working with me didn't make it. 2 others were killed. And all I asked for was that if I did get away, my parents couldn't get me out. They were real scared and told me that their jobs were in jeopardy. And that's when I come to understand that the first line of control is in the family. When they seek to tell you what not to do, it'll be someone who you know very well. Those are the only ones that can get close enough to you to bear the messages from the ones that they seek to serve as opposed to oppose. So my covenant was grant me the opportunity to find out who they are. And if I become so blessed, then I would ask for the right to get to tell to other people. And though I wasn't a speaker, as I acquired certain levels of information, then I began to learn how to speak it. And though I was a pretty shy guy, I mean, I couldn't stand up for all of people, stand up and say nothing. All of a sudden, confidence came when the knowledge came. And then as I began to say out loud the things that I had learned, I found out that people who I thought knew didn't know, and the ones who pretended like they were fighting against these people really didn't know who or where they were going with the fight. So I found a use for myself. I used to hang out literally in the dugout on the power arena and pass information to the people who would go up to hit at white supremacy. And I would be in the dugout feeding and sharpening up their bats, and for a long time I helped a lot of people who never saw me. And sometimes as people go out to do the battle for their own particular reasons, their priorities change and their eyesight and insight changes, and I had to come up out of the tunnel and get up on the field, and the position that was available was name the names, so that's the spot I took. And I found out that there was a great need for someone to clarify in specific who it was we were after, because we in a very general way speak against white people, Jewish people, secret societies, Masons, we speak against whatever. We are all of them in general. Too often we're not specific enough. We fight the system. We'll run out here and whip it. You can't whip it when it's only hypothetical. So we wanted to put the noun and the pronoun into the adjective revolution. We fight imperialism, we fight capitalism, and fight communism, and everything is done by somebody. So let's spin the tail on them donkeys and let's get with it. So I asked for this knowledge, and God blessed me with opportunity. For as I began to know, it was put on the record that there was a benefactor of the gift of speech and knowledge, and unbeknownst to me, opportunity opportunity arose. Now, I never asked for God to lead me to victory. I only asked God to help provide me with opportunity. If I was good and had done what was necessary, victory would just be a mere consequence of the opportunity. So when you seek, don't always seek the answer. Seek that you be in a position to derive the answer, or that you have the opportunity to succeed. Don't be so weak and ask for the conclusion. So that's how I got to you today, because after I got to know him, then I got to tell him. I asked if I got to tell in places where people felt that maybe this was of some value, and at the end you'll tell me that if it is so, then we would get the right to destroy them, because destroying them is what must be done. But people ask me very clearly, you may or you may not like it, or you may or may not want to bone up to it. But if there is a growing, living, active bacteria in your body, and it is cancerous, you quite know that as a cancerous, contagious, growing, negative, living object, if you don't kill it, in time it will kill you. So I'm firm as a doctor with a sick people. What shall we do with this bacteria when we find it? We will kill it. So y'all can run and tell them that I said that. I'm going to try this evening in the time that I have to put a little thing two together to serve you the best that I can, for I am truly your servant. I have no ambition. I seek no position. I do not advertise. I do not ask to come to speak to anyone. I don't even like standing out selling tapes. I don't like doing these things, but I have come to understand they are important. Therefore, I fulfill my obligation to provide the things that God provided with me. But once you get what I do in your system, it is not to repeat it, but it is to expand it so that you can find out what God did for you. You can witness what has happened with me, take that, and then go off and open up your own thing. I take this pleasure and opportunity not only to thank the people here at the college who were so kind to host us, but also to thank the Third Eye for having me. On several occasions in the past, it had been alleged that I was coming to Dallas, and some called and talked and offered opportunities, none of which came through. And I will assure you that after the time we get to spend together tonight, you will see why it might have taken 3 or 4 different opportunities just to get me here for one opportunity. But I'm sure once we've had this one, we'll form a bond that will need no utterance of mere words. So I thank the members of the Third Eye. Of course, it is the all-seeing eye that is used by the opposition on the dollar bill, the most common used currency, where you see a pyramid disconnected with an all-seeing eye. Of course, when you built the pyramid, you did not disconnect it. But there were others who came after you who in fact felt they were the successors to what you started. No, that's not so. But right now they think so, and that's all right. In the end, these all be made clear. I'd like to salute you in the spirit of a theme that I share publicly, in the spirit of the Bogart. I saw that on the cover of the Examiner they used a picture with my elbow up, and y'all probably thought that my armpit was itching or something, and I was scratching it in the paper. But that's actually a Bogart. Can I see those elbows? Y'all got elbows? You see them elbows, right? Now, when y'all see me and you want to make me happy, say, Brother Coach, how you doing? And it's amazing as I go around the country and get to different airports, I'll be standing around the sky cap. And here come the cab driver. And here come the little person checking the bags. Here come people who are in and out of the airport. And that lets me know where I know you from. And the Bogart is really something that happened to us. They Bogarted us. They Bogarted us, and they didn't reason with us. They didn't legislate on us. They took on us. And each hand deserves another. Therefore, that's how they took it. Looked like to me, that's how we gonna get it back. Now, I perceive that alludes that some of this is gonna be physical, and honestly, it is. And brothers, you are the strongest element of our race. Therefore, your responsibilities in the physical phase of this are greater than that of the sisters. And so there are expectations for you that are great. That is why we want to maintain superior physical condition, because some of what must be done will be physical, and what will make it easier is that we will be well trained and well thought out about who we're after. You don't always have to bowl over the opposition to get them to do what you choose, but sometimes, just like an animal trainer, you got to know how to get them up on their hinds and get them in that position where with a right push by even the smallest finger, you can push them over because you have strategically set them up. So we'll talk about that at the ending. And I can just give you a little analogy real quick, just for the sake of the record. If we're fighting this beast, trick the beast out to cave, because these are cave dwellers that we're after. Now, you know, if you were born in a cave, you'd be pretty angry because there was no greenery. There was no, off of the green come the air. All those fruits and vegetables, those big, nice, juicy mangoes, and he didn't have them. So he couldn't go over and eat some green, somehow, and I've come to believe this. I just don't understand it. Somehow they say that we were first and we evolved from something and they evolved from that. I don't think that's so no more. I don't think that they're an extension of something that you were. Because even still today, I've never seen a gorilla eat meat. I've never seen a gorilla live in a cave. And all these years since then, ain't no gorilla in there yet anymore. And so it appears as if maybe this might be some deviation. That means that, when you're an exterminator, you have to know which poison to use for which beast you're after. There ain't no need of giving rat poison to an elephant. So if you got something that's big and strong, don't feel bad because the beast is big and strong. Just remember that sometimes they die for their failure to adapt. At one time on the planet, there were dinosaurs, the biggest, baddest things on the planet, but nobody kicked their ass and sent them off. Their failure to adapt made them extinct. So there are other things that will, sunlight, and other things, failure to reproduce, curse, inability to live in harmony with others, competitive nature. Hey, they getting into beast sex. I seen that show, what's that, Beauty and the Beast or something? Where a lady made love to the lion with a tail on it or something, with the face like a man. Watch them. They up to something. They're gonna producing she-dogs and stuff. But don't feel bad because that analogy will bear true. You know why that milk don't go in your stomach. You know why you swallow that stuff and it make your stomach hurt, but he can drink it and make his bones thick. In Cincinnati, in Eden Park, there is a symbol donated to the town of Cincinnati from the mayor of Rome. It's in Eden Park. In fact, Cincinnati is laid off almost like a biblical layout. It's got 7 hills around the town, and it hangs over the great river, which is the Ohio, as the Indians call it, Native Americans. Neither one of those names are relevant. But in the Beast of the 360s tape, I talk about Cincinnati and that statue of Romulus and Remus that sits up on that park, Eden Park. And of course, Eden Park for them is what they call the beginning. And at their beginning was a wolf and a white girl and a white boy. And the white boy and the white girl are sucking off the nipples of the wolf. And I ain't figured out how they can swallow it unless they were of that nature. Zionism is racism. Zionism is based on a colonialistic theory. It is a political action program, anti-God program. The interesting thing is that when you read it, you'll see discussion about anti-God. It says we will whip all, including God. That's right. It says our goal is to wipe out personal initiative. What is personal initiative? That's what distinguishes you from a dog.
the power to exercise your will. And their goal was to wipe that out by controlling and subverting things. You know that speech I gave on that Asian Jewish doctor speech that they say I gave? I never said. I never said the Asian Jewish doctor statement, but that's not the point. When they brought it up, we discussed something related to that. The point to it was that in that speech at Xavier University in October of 1987 was when I announced that the Antichrist had been born in Cincinnati, where I was standing at that moment. Now, let me tell you a few things about Cincinnati, which is important as to why I keyed in on Cincinnati at the birth, but Chicago is where it's sleeping at right now. It was a speech at Xavier University in 87 in which I announced for the first time ever that the Antichrist had been born in 1972 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, the first Reformed Judaism congregation in America was in Cincinnati, Ohio. The first, which means the first outpost for the German Jews in America was not New York, not Philadelphia, not where the Pilgrims were. It was in Cincinnati, which used to be called Porkopolis. Now, pork is nasty, buddy. If you name the town out of it, they said it was so hard you should just run through the streets rampant. Stray animals, stray pigs, roamed the streets eating garbage and spreading disease. The river ran red blood from the slaughterhouses located all up and down the river. The Great River they got a three-sided river that breaks off the Ohio River. They call it the land between the Miamis. And now, interestingly enough, in Cincinnati, in the top hill of Cincinnati, there's a gift from the mayor of Rome, of a city in Rome, where they gave him a statue and they put it on the top of the hill in a park called Eden Park. Now, Eden Park has a biblical connection, of course, with the Garden of Eden. All the parks in Cincinnati have names related to biblical, Seven Hills and Mount Adams and Mountain. Now, all these mountains go around Cincinnati have these biblical references to it. And this brother from Ohio, Cincinnati was called by Longfellow the Queen City. Now, if you're a queen and somebody is a king and you give birth, what's that? The prince. The prince. So if that's the Queen City, now we know Los Angeles was the Los Angeles. Chicago was the big stink. Anyway, now, Cincinnati. On the top of the hill in Eden Park is a statue called Romulus and Remus. Anybody know what Romulus and Remus is? They call it the fountain of mankind. And of course, it's two little white kids sucking from the bowels of a wolf. Now, can a dog suck a cat milk? Can a horse suck a goat milk? No, you gotta suck what's of your nature. Go ahead. So if your children can suck a wolf's butt and get milk, then what do that mean? It means you got a beastly nature. Go ahead. Okay, and that's just right on Eden Park. Rome looked at Cincinnati as something similar to itself. It developed their sister-city relationship. Oh, Babylon, the what? The whore sits on Seven Hills. Okay, now, I went to Cincinnati after I went to Eden Park. I walked around. I found this big church sitting right on the edge of the mountain. You know what it's called? It was called St. Peter's in Chains. And they had a statue of St. Peter's wrapped up, hanging over this cliff, looking out over the town. I said, goddamn, what was so tough here to top St. Peter up? Here's a monument, St. Peter in Chains church. It's the big church there. Sitting right on the hill. You can just walk up. The church is open 24 hours. You can walk in. I mean, it's sitting so on the edge of the cliff, looking over the town. You think things should good and fall over. Those like somebody was in, they tied up St. Peter. Then you know what's the major corporation in Cincinnati? Major corporation in Cincinnati got two big old twin towers right on the river called Procter and Gamble. And you know what its logo is? It's called Natus. N-A-T-A-S. Which just happens to be Satan spelled backwards. It's got 13 stars on it. Right, it has this little moon thing. I looked, in the book, Everybody's Business is a profile of Procter & Gamble. I looked for it, I tore that page out to use it at a lecture and couldn't find the page. So I couldn't bring you that meaning of Natus, the historic, what they call it, mythology. Right, on their products, right. Right, now why would they put something like the devil on this stuff? Interesting enough, when Cincinnati was formed, it says that this guy in 1787, Benjamin Sites, S-I-T-E-S, chased a band of Indians into the land between the Miamis, which later became Cincinnati. The Indians were ousted by former Revolutionary War soldiers looking for cheap fertile land, and later solid industrial base grew in the city of Cincinnati, spurred by an influx of mostly German immigrants. Yesterday, Cincinnati traces the intimate history of the Queen City. Important, Queen City. Now, in first page of the book, 1788, it says the Queen is born. This is what it says. It says the Ice Age pulverized the Cincinnati area topography, making hills and fossil troves. Once the geography settled down, a band of so-called Indians settled in the area around the time of Christ's birth. The knows how far back they went to say when these Indians showed up, Christ's birth. And they go, well, now America, the so-called white American wasn't even there at Christ's birth. So to trace this Indian to Cincinnati at Christ's birth was important. It says that they were known as the Mound Builders. That was what the Indians were called, Mound Builders. It says, but where they came from, nobody knows. Now, how did you not know where they came from? They come from the original man. Where all else things came. It says, but where they came from, nobody knows. Artifacts from that era are still visible along with the mounds themselves. So from Christ's time, their relics are still in Cincinnati. It's important. Near North Bend and at Fort Ancient, A-N-C-I-E-N-T, near Lebanon, mounds used for burials, ceremonies, and defense have also been found in what is now downtown Cincinnati, called Mound Street, in Sailor Park, near Turpin Hills. Serpent Mound in Adams County to the east is more than 1,000 feet long and looks like a snake with an egg in its mouth. Whoa. A 1,000-foot snake with an egg in its mouth. And the snake is the lower self. In all of us, the snake is the lower self. That's all of you upper selves have some lower self. Go ahead. Till we get good enough to get control of all of ourselves. That's another lesson. Yes, sir. It says the last of the mound builders disappeared from this area about the same time that Jamestown, Virginia was colonized. Southwest Ohio had no established Indian tribes when the Indians along the Atlantic coast were seething the first hordes of colonists. Indians who hunted here called it the Ohio, or Great River, which became Ohio, the state. Okay, what is the Great River? And you walk in Cincinnati, you feel the weight of those hills. I went up and down. When I went up and down that hill where St. Peter's and Chain was, the gravity pull was so strong, you go down like this. Around the mound, 1,000 feet long, looked like a snake with an egg in it. This is Jake Carruthers talking in a book, the Ancient Egyptian Studies, Essays in by Jacob Carruthers. Carruthers talks about the significance of Diop's two cradle theory, which was that life started in two separate places at the same time with two different looking type of peoples. Says what Diop calls the two cradle theory is his idea that civilizations originated in two centers on cradles. The first was in Africa, along the Nile, from the Great Lakes region, Lake Nyanza, N-Y-A-N-Z-A, to the delta on the Mediterranean Sea. The second took place on the Eurasian continent. Diop originally placed this cradle in the Eurasian steppes of central Russia, but later concluded that it probably developed in Europe proper. Because of the general benevolence of the environment in the southern cradle, man developed an agricultural, sedentary culture with a matrifocal social structure. The environment engendered in the people a peaceful and cooperative disposition. This was us. Feelings of harmony with nature and reverence for the benevolent creator. This cradle thus gave birth to the great Ethiopian Egyptian civilizations, which in turn gave way to many of the rudiments of the civilization of the Eurasians. By contrast, the ferocity of nature in the northern cradle caused men to develop a plundering nomadic culture with a patriarchal social structure. The environment caused the people to develop combative, competitive dispositions, feelings of hostility against nature, and contempt for God. The Eurasian cradle thus gave birth to the militant civilizations of Greece, Rome, and Arabia and Germany, which have always repaid their African benefactors with bloody conquest and exploitation and slavery. Well, I'll tell you, it's difficult to have a good discussion on this core of negativity because it's not to discuss. It's about the day that we get our little rocks and pebbles and other things together and we do battle against this core of negativity. It's not going to be easy. It's not easy for people like myself who have to fight it with nothing to fight it with. Go ahead. We have never stopped fighting this beast when we never had anything to work with. I have probably one of the cheapest research organizations in this world. But from the reaction, it sounds like I'm getting close to the right thing. Go ahead. I always felt that it was my job to take a pebble of knowledge and information and throw it into that cave to suck that beast out into the light for a fight. Yes. For in the light, the beast don't have all of his strength because he works in the hidden recesses of the mystery of not knowing who or what he or she is exactly. So, bump your local minister. Say, where that beast at? You seen him lately? Hey, I hear he's been born. Looks like, as we look over things, that these consolidations, corporate, governmental, country to country, are coming about. All of the things that alluded to appear to be getting close. Now, we must get our scholars together to convene to see exactly what does that say and what does that mean. But first we must let the people know that they must know the importance of that discussion to their ability to survive to the year 2000, which appears to be the turning point for mankind versus man, which are distinctly different patterns. Mankind is like a man. Jewish is like a Jew. If we were blackish, we'd be like black. And in that book, Fate of the Jews, Israeli calls out and says, you Israeli like Jew. Calling them Israeli like. Not a Jew calling another Jew Israeli like. Saying, don't cling too tough to that beginning. That's not our story. Will we respect it or will we meet the fate of destruction for being the breaker of it? I have to say something somebody feel but don't want to say, you know. This is a dehumanizing process. It's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice of the self. You give of yourself. You lose yourself to try to do this. Nobody wants this job. It's not popular. But I don't see the leadership. And leadership doesn't want to sit for computation with me. Well, if this is who runs it, then our behavior becomes judged by that. I had worked with Tony Martin. I had helped him. Tony Martin went to speak with some people who I wasn't getting with. But I made all my friends go because he was being attacked. I made them all go because if this man is under attack and we don't go to his presentation because we don't agree with the person hosting him, then they'll kill him. So we've got to be there. We had Sister Nzinga, Rakabisha. We had to be there. We submitted ourselves. We paid our money so that it could not be seen that factionalization could isolate him. That he would be a byproduct of being less protected because I wasn't agreeing with the person hosting him. That's not fair. So we were there. Sister greeted us at the door, stood me up in the middle of the meeting. Oh, Kofi, I love you. Glad you could be here. And I said, hey, we got to support the brother. I shared my Jewish information with him. And on the Jewish onslaught, he mentions me in the opening. That Jeffries, myself, and others gave him unsolicited information that backed him up on the crunch on Jewish people. I ain't gonna let nobody not checking in with me, fight no fight for me, don't pay no dues for me, don't do nothing for me, stand up supposedly in love of me and attack another man. That ain't with me. I don't have no supporters like that. I don't have no friends that do me like that. I'm compelled to do that because if I'm wrong, I'm compelled to make it right. What brother would I be if I wouldn't right what I'm wrong? I would be off base. I would be the wrong brother. I would be a perpetrator. So you can be wrong and not be a perpetrator. And you can say what you feel and not be a perpetrator. So I feel this. And that don't make you no perpetrator. I'm against black men who juice all the women. That comes out of being a brother in the community. Being a brother in the community. A brother. Now, I ain't gonna speak for what women do. But being a brother in the community, you stand on the stage, somebody seeing you up there, people tend to like you and don't know you. People tend to want to fuck you and don't know you. And there's people who use that juice and destroy the women that they encounter on the path of being a man. I ain't for that. I ain't for juicing the women that you incur from being a brother. It makes a gap in operation. It hurts something in the long run. White people cannot make 2 points out of black people. And again, let's call up these monkeys who were in the service and let's find out what God they serving anyway. Now, I got this other thing about the role of religion in the revolution. Zero. If you cannot leave your religious tenets on the doorstep, you are vulnerable to divisiveness in the black revolution. Divisiveness, why? Because we can never resolve your God over another's God, your book over another book. And if those are things you insist on, then you're in an unresolvable dilemma. And the context of that is, what role does fact play in religion? The answer is none. Right, it's none. The other side of Coakley is into, what am I really about? What am I actually trying to accomplish? And I'm not trying to stand on a hill and find truth, because truth won't necessarily make change, but truth and force will make change. And so I'm as much needing the force. I might have to get force from a corruptible person, a corrupted person. I might have to get truth from someone else and put them in the same room together and mix them up and put force and truth together. But force, need force. Why? Some of these people who I be talking about don't like me. What make them not progress me? Potential for force, that you could produce heat, and that they know that you would have demonstration projects. Maybe somebody steps up to test you late one evening and you respond accordingly, and the word goes back, man, don't send me on no shit like that. You didn't even tell me what I was getting into. I took the thing on their head, it was all over me. So the bottom line is a chess game. The bottom line is we want to win something, and this is how I'm gonna play it. You play chess on mobile? Chess is a good game for me and you. We're going to play some chess, right? We're going to get on to that. Now, I ain't played chess in 2-3 years. Oh, that's all right. You know how to play it now. You just ain't got the board. All right? The chess is got 3 phases to it. Anybody know the 3 phases of chess? There you go, Baba. That's chess right there. The 3 phases. And revolution or fighting got 3 phases. Opening, middle game, and end game. When you go to a chess book, the things are broken down. You can get a book on nothing but openings. You can get a book on nothing but middle. You can get a book on nothing but end games. And there's a strategy to trying how you want this game to be played. How do you want to use your players? And this is pawns linked together. It's my game. Pawns linked together. That in the process of the opening, the pawns take a certain strategic position on the board and link up. The rest of the players, the knights, the jesses, the rooks, the kings, that's right, the knight, the bishop, the rooks, and the queen are going to get traded away in a fight. When the fight get going in my middle game, I'm trading all their asses away. Somebody tell me they got one of them hostage, they can have them. Or we kill a bunch of people and they say they don't kill them, they can have them. Got one knock game no way, they ain't figured in the end game. Because once you trade away them people, now if the pawns are linked together, your ass got control of the game. That's the only way the little people can win. I'm a little people man.
Hotel. Time is short. But we would be remiss if we didn't take this opportunity to tell our African youth who are the enemies of their future. Who are the enemies of the future of the African youth? We're here in Harlem, but they want to take Harlem over. Time Warner wants the Apollo Security Council, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the spy system went down. They did all they could do to stop you from coming to manifest to save your future. So that should let you know that no matter how strong the media makes you think that they all can be beat. Adolf Hitler Giuliani is no more than another white who rose up to show the brutality and the hate and the uncompromising nature of evil. It was the devil. Why should we not take this time to take our youth and make sure that we send America an economic message it would never forget? In November, December, and January, 60% of all goods are sold. In November, December, and January, every advertiser brags about from 16 to 30 as the key market that makes the advertising world go. Why do we not now affirm? Will you all affirm that during that 90-day period, you will participate in no frivolous buying from non-black businesses for a 90-day period between November, December, and January? You got to say it. Let me hear you say, no frivolous spending November. Now don't let me catch y'all out here buying stuff. I want to tell you something that you spiritually all must know. Several years ago, there was an assassination attempt on the life of our brother Colin Muhammad. And when Brother Colin called me from the hospital, I asked one thing. I said to him, what did God save you for, brother? What did God save you for? Could you imagine that Colin not have the privilege to see the fruits of his labor? Why is it that the moderate Negro leadership, El Negro, why is it that El Negro don't want Colin Muhammad? What deals do they have with the white man? Why did the Democratic Party, the U.S. government, the AFL-CIO, and all them Uncle Remus Negro groups get together in Atlanta and try to undermine what we were doing? It's because you don't know how many people really work for the white man, but it took an issue like this to flush them out into the public. You are the turning point in the future of African people. Never have they wanted African people to be mean to the hunky. Never did they want African people to pay the hunky back for the murder and the brutality of our relatives. Never did they want you to say, you bomb Africa, and you rip Africa. And then they want you to say, hey, let me get a job. We need to let the Council on Foreign Relations know that you're not going to take their program for world control. The Bilderberger Group, you're not going to take their program for world control. The Trilateral Commission, you're not going to take their program for world control. Every hunky who sits up in the great foundations, the investment banks, the think tanks, the insurance companies need to know that you are resisting what they have to come out. You ready for Colin Muhammad? Yeah, bring it on! Oh.
Of the Lord of all the world. We better thank Almighty God for coming in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, raising up in our midst a divine leader, a divine teacher, and a divine guide in the person of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We thank the two of them for the man who is my teacher, my mentor, the man who is largely responsible for what I am, what I am becoming, and I will never deny him. I speak of none other than my spiritual father, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. In their name, I greet you with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. you will look around you, you will see that they have lined up all in the trenches. If you will look in the rear to this section, you will see they have lined up down the middle. And if you can see around the side of the stage, you will see them in their riot helmets and everything. We say to you today, you no good bastard.
How many of y'all believe there'll be a black revolution? Russ said, nope, never happened. He's probably right. It's a hedge your bet. That's nothing wrong with that. This dialogue is hedged in the cornerstone dialogue of what will make it happen. What will make it happen is that you know the pieces that are compromising the globe and that you will undo what is done because you won't undo it if you don't know what it is. One way never to have to fuck with it is to never force yourself to know. And what you all think going on with this gangster rap shit? You know ain't no gangster rap been plaguing black people in America for 500 years. We ain't suffering from gangster rap. I was in Chicago. Surprisingly, AT&T is sending a lot of employees out to meetings around the country. It is the largest employer in the United States. You may underestimate the power of the phone company. It's still on. The AT&T sending people out. I was just lecturing in Chicago, and the lady said, well, you know, why are you getting all in the bottom of these secret societies? Why don't you stop gangster rap? I said, well, is this gangster rap real bad? She said, yeah. I said, well, why don't you name me the name of some gangster rappers and tell me just what they said? She said, I can't do that. Now, what does that mean? That means that someone knows enough about loving the hunky that they perpetrate what the hunky say and don't even know what it's about. And there are many others who you can challenge or check. If you have the authority of the information, you can back it up. If you accumulate the spiritual power to enforce your knowledge. It is not just that someone knows what is wrong and what is right. It is that you stand up to impose what you know to be right based upon the accumulation of the spiritual power that you set away and stored by always keeping your relationships in a way that you were trying to max out on the spiritual side because you got to call on things you don't have. You can't call up the helicopter, so you may have to call on a thunderstorm. And see, you used to know more about this shit, but school done fucked all this up. Supplanted dumb sciences and kept you away from the metaphysical alliance you had with the universe, brought your ass to the planet in the beginning. The hunky say hello, because he got a devil thing going. He into hell, and oh, that's a part of his thing. You wasn't into that. You was into some other shit. Reagan wasn't sitting up having his wife use a horoscope lady to protect him from CIA, FBI, Army, and Air Force, and he the fucking president. He wasn't doing all of that because astrology don't work, or it didn't mean shit. But how did it get here? You took it out the sky and brought it here. That's a whole, every time you get down to the essence of what they doing, then all of a sudden it's a big hoobaloo. It's a big hullabaloo now about what Colin been saying for 20 years. Colin gotta take the goddamn white man, make this shit look like cream cake. So what is it that now Colin is a thing? And you are eating the whole gangster rap thing. The whole Jesse Jackson, Dick Gregory, League of Political Women Voters, and all this other stuff out there, walking in a white neighborhood against some brothers that they never even talked to. Took that shit right out there for the hunky and played it all up. To play out on gangster rap is about setting the psychological rationale for the killing of the young black male. Now, right over there at University of Maryland, they had a plot to bust into your skull by the 9th grade to see if you were prone to violence. But anybody suppressed by the hunky after all these years ought to be feeling some violent shit. I mean, how much can you take? You know where the fuck colon cancer come from, and kidney trouble, and heart attacks, and all that other shit? High blood pressure come from suffocating your aggression due to hunky. And rather than to make him sick for making you sick, you eat the sick. That's what he do now. I ain't lying to you. They don't want to teach you that in mental health because they make money off of your unhealthiness. What do you think an alcoholism worker, a mental health worker, a drug worker, a social worker, what do you think they get paid for? For watching the people and make sure they don't fuck with the hunky. Why do the hunky fund alcoholism treatment? Because a violent black alcoholic might get mad and go fuck Rockefeller on a wine. Now wouldn't that disappoint the Rockefeller family that they lost out on a wine? Because the boy stood by the limousine and tapped the motherfucker when he come out. Wouldn't that be terrible? I mean, I'm telling you, wouldn't that be terrible? Right, so Rockefeller said, well, fuck, let's have some alcoholism treatment workers out here. He said, how about, yeah, them motherfuckers be on drugs. Rockefeller said, well, you know Exxon provides the paste that makes the cocaine. I mean, we don't provide the drugs, but we do make it white. So we do provide that. Yeah, we might let them use some of our oil tankers to bring it in. I mean, so what? As long as we keep control on the thing. But put some drug treatment workers out there in case one of us get high and shit and start talking about fucking that Rhodes Rothschild secret society. Yeah, you better get somebody in there to stop that shit. Say, what about the social worker? You know where this first school of, free tape for the person who know where the first school of social work was at. And somebody said Chicago, that is correct, that is the city. But Jane Addams was the first one to instigate social work. That's correct. It's at the UFC. There you go. Then just him, the engineer, ain't gonna make it. You need a carpenter. You need a plumber. I mean, you need a car fixing man. I mean, a revolution need all of these people. I mean, and I'm not to say that there's anything you need to be. You need to have access to these people. You need somebody who like to fight and lick their chops for kicking ass. That's all they do is kick ass. You know what I mean? We see this here and then don't groom no fighters. I mean, everybody got fighters but us. In fact, they tell our fighters not to fight. They want gun control, gun turn-ins, 3 strikes you out and shit they got going now. Hunky got some new shit, 3 strikes. I said, okay, I'm glad you counted. Because your ass out a whole game with me. You done struck out 9 innings worth of shit. And now you counted 3? I'm glad you done cut a limit to this because we got some strikes of our own to count. And the leadership has failed in being able to defend the race because they won't talk about the critical areas that fuck the race because they compromise those interests in relationships that actually don't sell them out. They already gone. They sell you out. I mean, you need to know you're sold out by the relationships. The system is set up to deceive the bulk of the people. Now, let's go to the very beginning and just say it straight. Power is. Any school should teach the people where the source of the power is. You got to go to the switch. You know where the coochie at, don't you? You know where the coochie at, don't you? The chat. You know where the coochie at, don't you? And you know you can't have a good time unless you find it. But just like education, you know that before you knew what the coochie was, you pretended like you knew it. Check. Because not knowing it didn't make you a strong enough brother. Check. So see, we be an African thing, right? We dress the African way, and how many y'all in here love Africa? Let me see your hands. Okay, that's most of y'all. Some of y'all will raise your hand. Who is? Now, let me see how many of them hands here. How many y'all love Africa? Now, there's a slight contradiction here. Your love for Africa does not translate in your understanding the forces that are fucking Africa every day. So that if you say you love it, then your love for it will be measured by how well you stand to protect it. Check. I mean, if Brother Coakley believe you mean what you say, and you ain't trained here to be no hypocrite, or you acting like you know something you don't know, you're not doing that, is you? I told you, one of the most dangerous things that happen is you could leave here and think you know something. And you gonna start a bunch of shit in the hood with another group of motherfuckers that might be in a street gang that can learn trilateral, Bilderberger, and everything else, because that's what the fuck is going on at the gang meetings. And that gangster rap do not say fuck brothers, it say, or fuck sister, it say fuck the police. And the fact that the rappers were taking on the police, the army, the Air Force, the Navy, was a part of a strategy that said, Brother Coakley, we'll wipe the police. You get the Rockefeller, the Carnegie, the Kill-All, the Bush, the Anheisers, and the rest of them. It's a strategy. and others know of it. You might not be close enough to know what's going on in your own neighborhood, but the youth have a mission. They have taken it upon themselves to wipe away the buffer that the hunter used to separate us from the Wizard of Oz. We're after the Wizard of Oz. The only way you're going to make it is if we pull the curtain on the wizard. You understand the principle of the wizard? He's the one that runs Oz, but nobody ever saw him. He's a bad motherfucker. Everybody behaved to him. And laying the cornerstone of a nation that's an illegal enterprise. The context for a black political revolution is hedged in language, qualifying language. It's a semantical entry point. It's based upon an allegation. You all know what happens when they have these drug dealers, when they catch the drug dealers, and they say they take their boat, they take their house, their car, and all that shit. You seen them seize and shit, them racketeering laws and shit. Y'all seen that? Y'all seen that? Yeah. All right. So likewise, they have set a precedent, a legal precedent, that if someone is in an organized illegal enterprise, that if you catch them or lay claim on them, you seize everything they gained since the inception of their illegal activity. I say the shit started in 1776. And that everything they gained since the first 13 states was an illegal criminal enterprise, and under the RICO statutes, we're gonna whip it on their ass. Check? Now this is the context for a black revolution. It's an unbreakable hold upon a certain set of knowledge that has a carefully laid pathway on the illegal actions of whites, who then imposed a set of laws called the Constitution. Let me hear you say it. Constitution. Right, but you can't forget it now. They produced Congress. Okay. And so, and you know the system is built on confidence. The system is built on you believing some shit that's unbelievable. It's built on confidence. You've been Hey, look here, y'all might stand to get a refund on this shit. I mean, don't feel bad. You might go to the Revolutionary Court. We have to refund you $40,000 that they took from you here under false pretenses. So you in there 4 years, how much you stand for? $40,000. Boom. Now don't think they won't help kill you. How many of y'all took them shots before you joined? How many of y'all agreed to carry a virus from some monkeys that you never knew to get in? Since ain't none of y'all gonna raise your hand, I'll throw it in reverse. How many of y'all didn't take it? See, some of y'all don't go here. That's why you raise your hand. Now look here, don't y'all fuck around and get to drinking the tap water either. I ain't y'all seen Brother Coakley lecture. He was telling people don't be fucking with that water. Hey, Brother Coakley tell them about that tap water got that cryptosporitis in the shit. Shit cause a flu in a healthy person. Then the water out in the DC in the middle of the cold, man. And the only places that had safe water was two places. What was the two places that had safe water? And Walter Reed. Now if some shit break out, you get thirsty. Now the fuck you know where to go. Alright? You got this shit? Walter Reed is right up 16th Street. Check. We was in walking distance. See, y'all are some strategic motherfuckers and don't know it. Y'all really a country unto yourself. You really don't know it. If a motherfucker was bad up in these dorms, they had y'all ass organized. Y'all be walking through the neighborhood. Y'all be the strongest black force in all of Washington, D.C. If this many people in the room walked out of here every day for a week and just showed themselves walking around for a week. Listen, y'all, listen, it's real simple. Hey, you know what? Isn't it too bad school don't have a curriculum called Freedom Fight? No, I'm telling you, when I was in college, I wanted to fight for black people's freedom. And I couldn't find within the offering of the university the curriculum that was appropriate for that. No, I mean, really, why wouldn't that be a good school to go to that trained you how to organize in your community? How to pool and make leadership in your community. How to set up a greenhouse so you could feed the people who would accept your leadership better when you fed them. How about setting up a fish farm? Do they teach that? How about solar power? They work you on solar power? You can put a fish farm, solar power, and a greenhouse right across the street and feed the whole neighborhood. It wouldn't cost $30,000. One of y'all got a $30,000 car.
give up one car would feed a neighborhood. We have misplaced values. Our values do not meet our behavior. And that's why we don't know that George Moose is the Undersecretary of State for African Affairs. Because though we love Africa, it has not translated into our behavior. And that's all I really want to see happen. If you into the religious thing and you fighting the devil, then catch the devil every now and then. We want some results from your alleged beliefs.